Hello, everyone, and welcome. It is your girl D again, and I'm back with another testimony time. Yes, we are sharing, or rather, I am sharing testimonies on this channel, and I'm always excited to tell you what God, these amazing things that God has done in my life. So, as you would know from last week, I started a new testimony time about how I survived cancer, about my cancer story and journey. And of course, because it's such a packed and long story, I decided I'm just gonna break it up into different sections. So we'll see how it goes. This is part two. So, guys, before I get started with part two of my cancer story and journey and how I survived cancer, please remember to subscribe to my channel down there. Subscribe, like, share, comment, and all the amazing, fabulous things. So, without wasting any more time, let's get ready and start it with part two of the story. Now, we ended it where I moved to my sister's place in Mpumalanga, Mpumalanga, to start my treatment and also just to figure out what is going on with me. What is this big thing, tennis ball size thing that is growing in my stomach? Immediately, my sister doesn't waste time taking me to the doctor. She took me to an oncologist. The oncologist was like, okay, we have to really do some more tests. We have to do an operation. Oh, operation, another one, no. So here we are, another operation coming my way, and they're like, no, we just need to take a sample, test what this thing is. Anyways, I went for this operation, and then the doctor called us back after a while. I think I'd recovered. This operation, the second time around, I must say, the second time around wasn't as bad as the first time. I don't know, the body maybe just grows resilience. It just gets stronger. I don't know, but it wasn't as bad as the first time, because the first time I remember details, but now the second time I don't even remember details. I just know I had an operation. So the body is resilient, guys. Same place also. So the second time around, they took a sample, they went and tested it out, called my sister and myself back in. The oncologist sat us down, I remember, and he was like, yeah, no, your sister, or rather me, I have cancer. But he said I have ovarian cancer. He said it's not a severe kind of cancer, and yes, the good news is that we can treat it. We're gonna start with the treatment right away. And I remember it was such a shock to me. I was like, ooh, cancer. But at the same time, I was expecting bad news because I knew that there was something not so great happening in my body. I knew that this thing that is happening inside of me was serious. I knew it was serious. So I wasn't too shocked. And he said, yes, we're gonna start you on treatment right away. We're gonna start you on chemotherapy, right? So, and at this time, we're at Pumalanga, the Mediclinic there, the Mediclinic in Pumalanga. My sister worked in very close to that Mediclinic. I know, rather, she lived close to the Mediclinic. I remember I used to take us like a few minutes to get there, like 5 to 10 minutes to get to the Mediclinic. So, how my chemotherapy was planned out was that I would go in on a Tuesday and get that treatment, the chemo drip, the Tuesday, for that whole day on Tuesday. And then the next Tuesday, I'd have to leave with the doctors, because the doctor was actually based in Vereniging, the oncologist. It was early on. I think this oncology thing and stuff, this specialty was not as, in South Africa. It wasn't everywhere. It wasn't as it is today. There weren't a lot of oncologists really. So you'd find that oncologists would not be in all the hospitals. Like at that hospital in Mpumalanga, there was no oncologist based there in a clinic. So this oncologist was based in Vereeniging. So he would only come to see his patients on that Tuesday, his patients in Pumalanga, and then he would have to leave. But the thing, and also there was no oncology ward at that clinic in Pumalanga. So that's why if I needed to take, a longer dose of chemo, I'd have to go to Vereeniging. So what happened is I would leave with the hospital, with the doctors, the oncologist and his team. I would leave with them for the week where I needed to take chemo, be on chemo for the entire week. So I would have my chemotherapy on the one Tuesday, and then at Pumalanga Clinic, and then I would go back home where my sister lived, and then the next week I'll go back at the Clinic, but I'll have to leave with the doctors for my dose, my weekly dose. I'll be at Vereeniging Clinic for the whole week, literally on chemo the whole week. That was my least favorite time because in Vereeniging I had no one. I knew no one. This teenager. I'm like, at that time, I'm like 14. I don't know anyone in Vereeniging. My sister is in Pumalanga. I'm here on this chemo treatment for the whole week. And guys, chemo is like a drip. Because it's like a drip. They put probably, with all the chemo drugs inside the drip. And I used to get so annoyed by that chemo drip. I mean, just sitting there. The only thing you hear is like drip, drip, drip. Hey, guys, like a small droplet going and going and going and going for like ever. And this drip is like huge. And it seems to never finish. When it finishes, you're like, oh yeah, oh done. They bring another one. And then it's back to square one. I hated that process. I hated the process of having to sit and just sit there on a drip, on a chemo drip, just waiting. I think it was, I just hated it. It was even worse. It was worse on the Tuesday. On the Tuesday, because I knew I was gonna go home. It was worse then, having to sit there and wait. But for the week where I was in Vereeniging, because I didn't have anywhere to go, whatever, I'm here for the entire week anyway. So I would be admitted into the oncology ward to be on my treatment for the whole time. And then that was me, back and forth. I remember, because I was in grade 10, I remember after the June holidays, that's when I left. I never went back to school after June holidays. That whole time, I'm getting treatment. It's me, back and forth. And then, I remember this one time, I developed like a clot. Yeah, a clot in my leg, guys. Yo, guys. I remember I was sitting at my sister's place. I'm sitting. The next thing, I stand up to try and walk, I don't know, to the kitchen, whatever. Yeah, I couldn't put weight on my leg. Pain, guys. Next thing, I remember my sister took me back to the oncologist. They took me to the hospital. She took me to the hospital. Like, oh, something is happening here. My sister can't walk. I remember my sister was running back and forth because they would take me to like scans, to check what's happening. My sister was carrying me. She was running from department to department wherever I needed to go. I was on her back the whole time because I myself could not walk. They found that clot. I remember I was bedridden for a whole week while they were treating the clot. I wasn't allowed to get up, be about and walk. I had those long DVT stockings. If you are a medical person, those DVT stockings, the long ones, not the short ones, the long ones. Usually, if you've been in hospital, sometimes they do it for prophylaxis, you know, just in case. But yeah, for me, I had a proper clot in my leg, so yeah, I had those long ones. I hated it. I hated being in bed the whole time. I couldn't go. Everything I had to do in bed. Do I need to pee? You pee in bed. They must bring the bedpan. Like, guys, I hated it. I hated it. I hated it. But it had to be done. That was also a week. Lasted a week of me bedridden, and they were, monitoring me, checking out on medication. After the week, um, and at that time, I think my chemo treatment was, I think they had put it on hold for a bit. I'm not sure, but I don't remember being on the chemo drip during that clot situation. Um, and then after the week, then I was discharged, and I was like, oh yay, done with these, you know, done with these, with this bedridden situation and these long DVT stockings, for crying out loud. But now, back and forth again, and being on the chemo treatment was a lot. Was a lot. A lot of things are happening while you're dealing with this devil over here of cancer. Other things are happening. You're getting a a, a clot. I remember the other time my kidneys also went pear shaped. There's something that happened with my kidneys. You know, um, and then the doctor who fixed it, who tried to fix it, didn't do a great job, because I remember one day waking up, just going to pee, and then it's like I felt and heard an explosion. And then when I got up and I checked the toilet, literally blood everywhere in the toilet. Blood everywhere. Sorry guys, this is, yeah, not for sensitive viewers and listeners. But yeah, and then I had to go see another doctor. I think this time I went to a doctor in Vereeniging while I was on my chemo that side. And I know that doctor fixed me up. Whoever that doctor was, he fixed up my kidney issues. But then back to the chemo again. The chemo is just an ongoing thing, and chemo, it's a story in itself, because with chemo I would get bloated. Like, I would just, like, you're on a drip the whole time. I just, like, my body's just swelling up. It's swelling up. It's swelling up. Like, you're losing hair. I lost my hair. You lose hair everywhere. I remember when I lost my hair, literally, I could just pull my hair out. It was coming out. I remember I pulled all of it out, and I had my hair in my hand, in my hand, and it was like a ball in my hand. I'm like, my hair was gone. With chemo, guys, your skin also gets sensitive. I remember my skin would get so sensitive. My hands turned black. My tongue turned black. You can see there's also still residue of that blackness on my tongue and on my hands. Like, if you see there, that's still remaining and there. But literally, on the other side, I'm good. But there, you see that the whole hand, the whole palm of my hand was black. When I say black, I mean black. It was black. Under my feet, tongue, black. And I would also scar and bruise easily. I could just be scratching myself and jiggy jiggy. It's a bruise. I'm turning black. Even on my hand, does it show? Like, you see, they are still remain. It was darker than this, so this is where they would, like, put my drip. They still remaining as well. I also have where they would, on the other side, see there, because they're always taking blood. That's still remaining as well. You see on my hand, on my arm rather, the bruises and everything is still remaining there. Oh, guys, it was a lot. It was a lot. So, um, it was just too much. But it was also a journey. It was a journey of faith. And I think what I forgot to mention earlier on is how after the oncologist told me that, you have cancer, I remember going back home and not even being freaked out because, as I mentioned, I was expecting bad news. But I remember saying, God, we're going to get through this together. We are going, me and you, God, we are going to get through this together. So guys, this video it's long. Let me just stop here, and we'll continue next week with another video, part 3 of our cancer story. And let's see how we go next week. So remember again to subscribe, to like, to share. Share with lots of people. Share with people who are perhaps going through the cancer journey now. Let them be encouraged. You know what I mean? That there is light on the other side of the tunnel rather. And yeah, let them be encouraged that they will conquer. With God, they will conquer. Let them stay strong in faith and believe. In Jesus' name, amen. So, guys, check you next week with part 3 of my cancer journey. Bye.